3, 2, 1. Anyway, well, now we are okay. Good morning, afternoon, whichever one it is. Sometimes I can't tell the difference between one or the other. But anyway, good afternoon, everybody. I just thought I would come on live here and see what was going on with the people out there this morning. I want to say, and first of all, let me say good morning to Cindy Wright, who is my good friend. Been friends for 20 years or so, and she's not feeling too good, so we're gonna say something nice to her so she can feel better. Uh, get her, maybe she needs some medicine, something, I don't know, but if she does, she can call us. We'll get her some. Anyway, good morning or afternoon. I'm trying to figure out what time to do this. Should I do this in the afternoon or should I do this in the morning? I'm not exactly sure which one to do it in, but I know that it's. I gotta pick a time. Got to pick a time. Good morning. Okay, there I go. Good morning all over again. But anyway, the reason I came on today, and it's only for a not a very long period, but a short period, because there's this issue in Montgomery that absolutely irks me. It doesn't irk me in a bad way. It stupefies me. It makes me ask questions sometimes. I was looking in the paper and somebody sent me a link to a new department that is in the Montgomery Police Department. And it is a department that specifically gears its counsel to Spanish-speaking people. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. Some of my great hombres are Spanish people. But here's the question that must be asked. When Kunta Kinte came over here, you know what they did with Kunta Kinte? What's your name? My name is Kunta Kinte. What did he say? Toby. Kunta Kinte. And every time he said Kunta Kinte, they whipped the crap out of him. Okay? So what's the point? The point is that we live in America. And America, we speak English. Well, we speak American. That's American English. We speak American. So I just wanted to know how many people think that it's okay for our police department to, well, shall we say, to have a department that's strictly for Spanish-speaking people. I don't. You come to America, you're supposed to learn the language, and if you don't, if it takes you a while, that's fine. That's fine. But here's the question: why is it that? Does anybody know why you really never see Koreans picked up by the police, or the other group, or any other group in America don't really populate our prisons? The question is, why is that? Because we have more Black folks only make up 12% of the population of America. So here's the question: why is it that when we go down to the jail, we only see just about Black folk? It's not that other people don't do things. Of course they do things. So why is it, however, that it is only us, okay, Black folks, who seem to populate our prisons to the extent that, like, nobody else lives there? Just a couple of white guys in every once in a while. But why is that? Why do you think so? Why do people think that is? Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know why that is or not. But why is that? We have a vast majority of. Why are we setting aside a department or making the effort to communicate with a group of people when Black folks been here 400 years and nobody makes an attempt to communicate with Black folks? And I'm glad of that. Don't get me wrong. I think that people. Somebody wants to talk to your brother, so we'll see who that is. Okay. Okay.
Call from Marty Marion Brock. to accept.
Marion.
Hey, what's going on, Kevin? How's it going?
I'm going pretty good. Unless you got an answer to my question.
Yeah, I got to answer. One thing is that Montgomery, I think is 55% black and maybe 45% everything else. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but
my understanding, Montgomery is 80% black.
Okay, well
now that doesn't include the county. I mean, that doesn't include the county and all those places, but it does.
Yeah.
So the city.
That right. So that kind of answers your question. But if you was to do it per race, if you was to configure those numbers, per race within that race or whatever, you'll find that the numbers are a lot closer. But yes, there's an overrepresentation of us in your jail cells. But I think a lot of it has a lot to do with, the number of people that are in the city. And I know I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving I'm making an educated guess that, we're the sum total of our experiences. And unfortunately, in our culture, I think, in your writing, I think you had something about, us growing up and becoming who we are, something of that nature. I forgot exactly what you said, but it is true that we're the sum, SUM, total of our experiences. And our experiences vary. It varies in a way where, we're impoverished, which is no excuse. I get it, but it's reality. And when you're impoverished and you're living in a certain environmental, our behavior is environmental. We're in a bubble. So I believe that you can't be what you don't see. And that's where mentorship, guidance, and counseling comes into part. But then do we have access to that? And how many people like you are willing to get out there and at least lend a helping hand, where it's donations or one go out and, and just take a person by the side of mentoring it? Because I understand we like to use this word, it's parenting and parents are responsible and all. But again, we can't wait on the parents, and we have to step up and be surrogate fathers or surrogate parents, unfortunately.
But the problem with that is this: we keep letting people off the hook who have kids and don't parent by saying it takes a village. I'm sorry, it doesn't take it takes parents first. Villages is to help, but not to do the job. And we let guys or women let guys off. But let's get back to the subject though. And the subject is why there's the Montgomery Police Department coming up with a whole big department to help Spanish-speaking people, rather than Spanish-speaking people learn how to speak English.
I think, it's their way of meeting them where they are to gain their trust. To understand the Hispanic people, and that's kind of my era in the way, in the type of work that I do. Understanding that they're tight-knit people, and they don't trust anybody. Culturally, they keep everything to themselves, even if they have to suffer in silence. You remember that robbery that turned into maybe 3 homicides at this place off of Troy Highway?
Right.
That?
Right.
And so, they were reluctant. They were reluctant about trusting people. It took a while before you were able to make the case, because they didn't want to talk. They didn't want to come from under the covers. They don't want to, some of them are illegal or not registered immigrants and all. So they would actually deal with it in-house and suffer in silence. So I think what, MPD or law enforcement is doing what you call preventive intervention, meaning you go out, you establish trust enough where they can be your informants later on down the line. Because right now they're your most vulnerable group of people. Because they do, people on the outside do know that.
Well, let me ask you, not being from the South, let me ask you, we never went out the way, from what I can tell historically, we never went out the way to help Black folk. Hell, we couldn't understand them either.
Right. Well, yeah.
I mean, we never went. We just put them in jail. So well, I'm just getting tired of this separating people by groups of people and giving some. And not giving to others. Why don't we just treat everybody like they're a citizen of this country, and make them get out there and work their butt off like we have done, and other people have come here have done. And think about this. What about the thing? You hardly ever see a Korean in jail, Indian in jail,
Um,
they,
I'll tell you why, Kevin.
yeah, tell me why.
I'll tell you why, because culturally, like I said, we have to understand, different sets of cultures, subsets of people. And they've always believed in policing themselves. If you go to some of these big metropolitan cities, you have Chinatown, Asian town, you have different subsets. And they believe in policing themselves because they believe in honor. They believe in, respect of honor and everything. It's a cultural thing. And they will, trust me, they would police themselves and hold themselves to account more so than any law enforcement agency. Now you do have a certain subset of Asians that are being locked up. It's just not a big set, not as big as us. But you got to look at it. They only represent maybe 1 or 2% of the American population in various communities. They represent a very small subset of people, and that subset of people are manageable within their own culture because they don't want any unwanted attention brought to them, just like your Hispanics don't. Don't think that there are not things going on in the Hispanic, world.
Sure,
Hispanic
there is.
But
let
me ask
something.
They are.
Can black people? Can black people? Can we police our own selves too?
Kevin, again,
I did answer the question.
Well, I could share this with you, but it has a lot to do with history and the William Lynch theory. And how that was brought apart, where we have a long way to go. We have to first love ourselves and respect ourselves, Kevin. And we're separate. I think the best time that we had, which was actually the worst time, was when we were segregated. We did police ourselves. It wasn't as many crimes or breakups in marriages or break up in communities or little I's and big U's. Everybody was right there forced to live with each other, and you had to coexist with each other. It wasn't until you started integrating into communities and then start pulling away and saying, well, you get yours, I got mine, and we started separating. Your Hispanics are where we were 50 and 60 years ago, where they have to live together and they have to get along in order to survive as a race of people. Now, I'm interested in seeing what it's going to be like for them in the next 20 to 30 years. It may be where we are right now.
Okay, so so the Indians and I don't normally go this way, but the Indians get the free money, they get the casinos.
Right.
Everybody else get all kind of businesses. If you go down and get a liquor license these days, if you're black, it seems like you get questioned more than anybody else by a liquor license, but everybody else seems to get one. It just seems to me that we are allowing ourselves to be pigeon-toed into a particular group of people and supposedly labeled with a particular set of cultural, shall I say, idiosyncrasies that seem to keep us down. But when I saw Montgomery's inaugural Hispanic-oriented Citizens Police Academy underway, I said, well, then where's the Black People's Police Academy? Let me understand that. How come when I stopped, you ask everybody in the car for a license when you ain't supposed
Kevin, to? I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And that's the reason why I raised my kids. Although we moved from the West Side a long time ago, when I, as young children, being young kids ourselves, I never forgot where I came from. I would purposely take my kids and we would go shopping on the West Side on Fairview to turn over our dollars there because I was I was what you call financially literate to a point where I understood the dollar. And my problem with us, in a sense, is that we don't understand the power we would have if we would just all pull together. But history, and I know, and I'll be the first to say, if you fail to acknowledge, you're doomed to repeat it. With the William Lynch theory, which separated us, took certain identities away from us, put us in a position where we have what you call the crab mentality and so forth. That history is too long to go over right now, but we just have never recovered from it, Kevin. And it's unfortunate. And my thing is, you cannot love each other or respect each other if you don't love what you see in the mirror.
But I'm going to ask the mayor. But I want to ask the mayor. Listen, what's this? I mean, where's the Black folks inaugural Citizens Police Academy at? Kevin, you come here to be an American. If you don't come here to be an American, to learn how to speak English, speak American, then what you here for?
Kevin, eventually they will. They was talking about your new Latino. They call it Latino X and Latino A or something of that nature, where they have found that a lot more of your young Latino men ended up voting Republicans, or they would associate themselves with white culture because they believe that that was their way out and up, and that's what they're believing now. I was watching a Latin television station, the state of politics and the way it's going right now.
Right.
So my answer to your question is that eventually,
well, let me ask you, and here's one more thing. We don't have a Korean inaugural Citizens Police Academy.
So Kevin, again, they make up less than 1% of this population.
Okay. I thought I'd ask the question. Okay. Hey, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And again, these are the issues that we wonder about. Because we need I saw that in the paper this morning. I said, I've been to a lot of countries. And nobody said we're gonna print all of our documentation in your language so you can. When I was in Germany, when I was in Korea, or when I was in Spain, we didn't. They said, well, we're gonna make this easy for you. No. There's got to be some work to be done if you want to immerse yourself in the American culture. Okay. Again, I go back to Kunta Kinte. Kunta Kinte said, "Hey, my name is Kunta Kinte," and they said, "Nope, your name is Toby." And they beat him enough, and you know what? He started calling himself Toby. So I'm just saying there seems to be an unfairness of sorts. Every group of people, and listen, I'm not for reparations, except for anybody in this country that's Black, that's 74 years old or older. I just think this country owes them something because they stopped them from doing things that they wanted to do because of all the junk and the policies, the social issues and policies of our time during that time. So I'm all for reparation for older people, 74 and older. But what do they get? They get nothing. But money makes up every apology to every other group of people in this country except Black folks. I'm a Black man most of the time, except philosophically. I hang out with the conservatives. I know. Y'all sound like no. Philosophy and our policies of who we are is what makes us who we are. So I believe in the conservative philosophy, but I also believe in doing what's right by people. I'm just wondering, what's up with that? Why somebody said, why not a Korean police force? He said one reason that Blacks overpopulate prison is because of poverty and racism. I'm not gonna I'm not holding that. I mean, poverty has something to do with it only to the extent that we want things that we cannot afford. Okay, and that's white people too. They some of them want things they can't afford. But I still have yet to find a correlation between poverty and crime. How about poverty and greed, which lends itself to crime? Okay, being poor never made you a crook. Stealing did. Okay, shooting people. So I don't know, but it says, let's see. One reason that Blacks overpopulate prisons is because of poverty and racism. Always remember, prisons, ghettos, and unemployment offices were all created and made with Black folks in mind. Okay, well, I remember watching Superman back in the first Superman that came out, and Richard Pryor was in it. And Richard Pryor happened to be in an employment office, a bunch of white folk behind him. So I don't know, I don't know if that's true or not. But I just saw that today, and if you haven't seen it, it's in today's newspaper. Let's see if I can get it for you here. It's in today's newspaper. Let me see. Share this screen right here. There we go. Right there. You see, it is in today's paper or news. And I just think that let's see if we can hear what they say. Let me see if they can hear it. Let me get that. Okay, well, I don't guess I can hear too good because I guess I can't. But anyway, I got to figure out how to run that over here now. But anyway, it is a police academy. So I guess Hispanic people get a better understanding of our culture and how this thing works. So, okay. So I was trying to let you hear it, but I can't seem to get the sound. I'll have that figured out next week. But anyway, let me see here. Yeah, have that figured out next week, but I can't figure it out right now. But anyway, I just we seem to come up with things that separate. Language is a important aspect of any culture, because if you cannot talk, if you cannot communicate with one another, then we have problems. You know, we just have problems, and so I don't. I just find I just find this kind of I don't think it's helping us. And I'll have to ask the mayor about this because let me see. Can y'all hear that? Let me see if I can get. Wait a minute. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can get that now. There we go.
From. That's why they've adapted their Citizens Police Academy for the Hispanic.
To bridge the.
Let's do that. Let's go. Tell me what you're saying.
New at 10, an effort from the Montgomery Police Department to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the Hispanic community. Media were given a chance to witness a class tonight in MPD's first ever Hispanic-focused Citizens Police Academy program. Our Simon Schuessler has the story.
Mm-hmm.
The Montgomery Police Department wants to make sure all residents have their concerns addressed, regardless of the language they speak or the country they come from. That's why they've adapted their Citizens Police Academy for the Hispanic community.
When you have an academy like this one, every individual who graduates it then becomes a go-between between us and the rest of that community.
Participants in the inaugural program started in November and will graduate in late January. In all, they will meet 10 times with class topics ranging from the municipal court system to the city's Star Watch program that allows facilities to connect their cameras to a city-wide network. This class featured a presentation from Montgomery's Inspector General explaining what his office does and how to navigate it.
The police department.
I didn't know we had an Inspector General.
Help us reach out into the Hispanic community to start helping them understand how the law works, how the police department works, and also what their rights are and how they can access services from us and sometimes from other sources.
Even if presenters don't speak Spanish, classes feature an interpreter to bridge the divide. For those in the Hispanic community unable to attend, MPD still wants you to know they care.
If you need help, call us.
Well,
that's what we're
caring
here
about
for.
us a little bit.
Our main purpose is that if somebody is going to try to victimize you, we want to help protect you, and we want to help you get justice for anything that is going on.
Yeah, and even though the inaugural program is in full swing,
but that's the program.
It's also open enrollment, so you still can join. But if you want to get the full experience.
Okay. Well, anyway, so that's the thing I'm talking about right there. That's the thing that I just don't. I'm not with that. I'm not feeling that at all. But again, that's what they want to do. But there's some 70. How many years ago was 1975? Anybody know? 1975. Hold it. Let me ask Siri. Hey Siri. How much is 2024 minus 1975?
2024 minus 1,975 is 49.
I appreciate that. 49 years ago this month, there was a man named Bernard Whitehurst who was shot down by the police in the back. And what made it even worse, the police did this. As a matter of fact, there is a reporter who I had the opportunity to talk to named Myra McPherson, who's with the the Washington Post. She got me on. She said this till this day is considered Alabama's Watergate. because this man was running down the road. Okay, they knew that he was scared of police cars for whatever reason. But back in those days, you kind of understand. But this was 75. They shot him dead. And not only to make matters worse, somebody went to the police room, the evidence room, grabbed the gun and put the gun down beside him. Now, they went to court and lost because the lawyer at that time, and this is just my interpretation, the lawyer at the time was I can't remember what the guy's name was, but I know he just got out of jail or something. Watkins. And he lost the case because now listen to this. You want to know why he lost the case? Well, first of all, he bypassed the city and he went straight to federal court, from what I understand. He went straight to federal court and tried to do a civil rights violation. They took his life, but the judge in the case said these words. And technically, I guess he was right, but how cruel, how demeaning could a judge render these words to that family? And I've talked to Stacey Whitehurst, Bernard Whitehurst Jr., and their sister, and all of them. There was a local, and I'll tell you what the judge said. There was a local representative who for the first time in history, in 38 years, 40 years by that time when I got here, he put this, now he's a, what was that guy's name? He's up in Utah now. He is a father, a friar, or whatever you call those guys of Anglican. I think that's what he is. Hubbard is his name, I believe. And he went to the house, the House representative, and noted this incident when nobody else has ever noted it at all, except to say that it happened. Well, anyway, let me digress. Mr. Watkins went to federal court on a civil rights violation because they took the man's life without any cause. They took the man's life without any cause. Well, when they finally got to court, and I still to this day don't understand why he bypassed the city courts and the state courts. He went to federal court on a civil rights violation, which is what it was. Thank you, appreciate that. The judge in the case, until this day, nobody went to jail. Nobody was held accountable for the murder of Bernard Whitehurst. Okay, now let me tell you what the judge said in the courtroom. He dismissed the case because what he said was this. Technically, I guess he was right, but morally, he was reprehensible. What did he say? He said, dead people don't have civil rights. Because at the time they laid the gun down, he had already expired. And so according to the judge, well, you don't have any rights if you're dead. And again, technically, I guess I feel you. I think we needed an inaugural Black people's oriented citizen police academy too, because nobody till this day has explained why nobody went to jail. Oh, some police officers quit. You had a mayor here that I think he gave up his office, named Robinson. I think he gave up his office. But we always seem to come up with departments to help other people get a better understanding of our government, when the people who were here to build the things that the government wanted have never had such pleasure. So I just put this out to the mayor. What makes you think that we always need to have a different organization for people who come here and say they want to be Americans? You never gave it to Black folks. I mean, you just never did. So because if that were the case, somebody needs to explain to the Whitehurst family why their father is dead in his grave for the last 49 years. Okay, because I mean, how do you end up getting shot on the streets of Montgomery and you never had a gun? And then the police go put a gun down. They put the gun down after he had expired to try to say that he had a gun, and he didn't. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, on the. I think all of these different divisions in us. If we're going to be one family in America, we all have to go by one rule. We all have to abide by the same rules. I mean, is there any law that's different for Spanish people than it is black people, or different from white people? I don't think so. I think it's all the same law. And if you really want to be a great American citizen, learn them. Learn how to speak our language, even if you got to break it up, because I'm not very good at speaking it yet either. Okay. So I'm still learning how to speak it. Okay. So I understand your problem. Okay. I'm trying to speak it too. But anyway, I just thought I'd come on and ask that question, because it's, the Whitehurst thing just bothers me. 49 years ago, December the 8th, I think it was December the 8th, December 12th, I was headed to Fort Dix, New Jersey in the cold winters. And buddy, if you ever been to New Jersey in the winter, it was cold. But another man was losing his life in Montgomery, Alabama. And until this day, that family hasn't gotten anything. Nothing. Not that anything will bring him back. But his wife and his kids deserve some recognition and an apology from the city of Montgomery. An apology too little. My good friend 50-50 used to say, apology that is basically saying, if an apology comes years and years and years and years after, it's too late. Well, I like this city, and they do got a moniker or something on the street. Now, I would like officially the city of Montgomery to apologize to the Whitehurst family for taking the life of her Miss Whitehurst, Florence Whitehurst, her husband, and to Bernard Jr., and to Stacy and their sisters. It's something they think about every day. Every day. But anyway, we're not getting we're not getting a Black folks oriented citizens police academy, are we? Are we getting one of those? maybe we need one so we can understand. Anyway, gotta go. I just that bothered me, so I thought I'd come on the airways here and say what it just bothered me. But anyway, I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and don't forget to have a happy New Year. All of these are practice things for me, so I can see if I can do this by myself. I don't know where my producer is today, so I'm just trying to hang out and see what I can do. Anyway, have a great day. I may be back tonight. Nah, I won't be back tonight. But on the second, I need to know, should I do this in the mornings or should I do this in the afternoon? Should we all get together? And if you want to be a guest, I can send you a link through Facebook Messenger, and it allows you to come into our studio, and it allows us to talk to you. Okay. And you can be on the air. Now that's good stuff. All right. So, but I'll tell you how it works later on. As soon as I get the first person, I'll show you how it works. Anyway, have a great day and a good afternoon. What time is it? Is it afternoon yet? Yeah, it's 3:08. Anyway, gotta go, guys. But look up Bernard Whitehurst. Look up what happened during that time, and tell me at that time we needed a Black Citizens Police Academy review, because we still don't understand that one. Anyway, have a great. Hey, Cindy, you feeling better? Let me know if you need some. We'll bring some soup or something. Probably more something than the soup. No, that's good. We'll bring it to you. I know you live out there in the boonies, but that's okay. Well, I'll come out there until you get better. All right. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. But if I get bored and I need something to do tonight, I'll come back. See you later. Bye.